What's up, everybody? Peepo here, and today's video is going to be about this. No, not the Puckett, but this, the String King Mark II V. 2V. Yeah, that works. Anyway, so getting right into it. Brand spanking new head from String King. It is one of 3 proposed heads that should be coming out for the spring season. The V is for versatile. Basically, this is supposed to be the midfielder's head because you're supposed to be able to play from one end to the other, so on and so forth. So V for versatile, but also because of all this sidewallage here. 29 sidewall holes. Counted them, so there's 29. So there's a lot gonna pretty much be going on there when it comes to customization for your pocket. But so before I really get into my opinion of the head, we're gonna kind of just do what I usually do for new products if I have it available, and that is read product labels, and pretty much we're just gonna stick to it. Again, like I said, there's 3 types of heads going to be coming out: the 2A for attack, 2V for midfield, and 2D for defense, obviously. In this case, the Mark 2V, built for versatility, the 2V is specifically designed to deliver a balance of strength, control, and accuracy to the all-around player. Pretty much caters to my style of play, which is midfielder. I do go on the attack a little more so in recent years, but hey, I still consider myself a midfielder because everybody wants to be an attackman. But so here's the specs. 2V is 133 grams, which is fairly light. I think that's 130 grams. Either way, that's what it says right there. So we're going with it. Stiffness, its rating is an 8, which I guess is considered a middle ground. Face shape, which is classic, which if you compare it to a Mark 1, it's almost exactly the same as their Mark 1, very similar to other style of heads face shapes. So kind of that traditional keyhole shape. And then it is recommended for midfielders and mid position pockets. It's light, it's stiff, it's strong. It has a ground ball vacuum. We designed the Mark II V to guide ground balls into your pocket and keep them there. The aggressively angled scoop acts like a funnel, letting you attack the ball from any direction. Now, having tested it and actually used the heck out of the Mark 1, I have to say the Mark 1 was absurd when it came to ground balls, whether you were on turf, hard ground, concrete, grass, it didn't matter. It just sucked up the ball and it kept it there. So they've kind of pretty much kept the same thing going on for the back of the scoop. There's really no change at all from the Mark 1 to the Mark 2, at least for the V. So if you liked the way that the scoop struck the ground or glided across the ground, the 2V from the Mark 1 is a good transition if you're looking for a little bit more of an advanced customizable head. So very much so true in that aspect. Supposed to have a better pocket because of the 29 stringing holes on each side. That's the most holes any head has ever had as sidewall holes. So if you can think it, you could probably string it. It's just a matter if you string it right so that it actually works. Let's see, no head rattle, which, this is a new fun feature, which you're like, why didn't anybody think of doing this before? Why didn't anybody really incorporate it before? And you see it all the time with like goalies and a lot of your old hand sort of players, where they will actually put a screw in the front of the head to keep it from wobbling just as much as they would have one in the back. The 2V keeps with their tradition of having one screw hole in the back, which personally I like the fact that heads have been moving towards having two in the back. But since they have this new design where it's just one, and it's basically a rod going from this emblem here is actually the front plate of that said rod system. So pretty much, let's see, it has a good picture there of where there's let's see, a nut and then a bolt system. So the emblem part slides into the front, and then you screw in the back through as if you were actually putting a screw into it. Now, if you don't want to use this design, or you don't have a shaft that is compatible with this design, like say you didn't get a String King shaft, then it is perfectly distracting me while I'm trying to do a video. But so if it doesn't match up, you didn't get a String King shaft, it's okay. You can just use a regular screw into the back of it, or if you put the head onto that non-matching shaft, you can drill a mark where the hole is supposed to be for the front plate, and through the hole of the front where the front plate would be, you can mark it on that non-matching shaft, and you can drill a hole, and then you can have the bolt actually work for that non-matching shaft. But if you get a full String King setup, the metal two shafts, all of them will match up to the head's bolt idea. But so kind of moving right into like the nitty gritty about it, there's not a whole lot as far as aesthetics changed about this head. The big thing that a lot of people notice is the throat. Throat's very open but still very stiff. I don't really have too much complaints. Too much in the way of complaints anyway. I don't really feel that the bracings that are in the throat will snap or anything like that. So kudos to them for kind of figuring it out to be like, okay, we're gonna have this a little bit cut out, but we're gonna have it be a little bit beefier than most people would think. So good on them for that. That also kind of caters towards me being a traditional kind of guy and liking to have the leathers go through the head to wrap around instead of just going around and then sliding down or up or whatever. If you're able to actually go through the head, you're able to secure your leathers a lot more, and it looks a lot neater personally. But so moving from that into as far as tying off stuff, you have the new bottom hole design. So there's actually, let's see, let me make sure I count it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bottom string holes. Now, with that sort of concept, and there's plenty of pictures out there, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up. String King 2V head, Mark 2V head, and you'll see plenty of pictures of the bottom hole. Since I already have it strung up, you can't really see too much in the way of what's going on with the bottom there, but plus I kept it rather simple for the bottom string. I don't really go for fancy when I have mesh in a head. But so with that many bottom string holes, you can have your leathers tied off, again, using the name of the head, very versatile in the way that you tie off your leathers. Although with me personally, I would probably just go straight through or wrap around once, like as if it was a regular head, and then go through the throat like I was talking about earlier, just because, I don't know, it's one of those things, like it kind of goes back to the whole clutch curse thing. If you don't know what a clutch curse is, it's basically the OG clutch, when the clutch first came out, and then the clutch X, so the original two clutches that were out there from Brine, they had this thing called the clutch curse, where pretty much the holes would break or crack at the bottom. Your actual bottom string holes would just full on break all the way through, and then you couldn't have a bottom string in there properly, or your bottom few sidewall holes would crack or break, and it was just annoying. Your head would break. I think I went through 3 or 4 clutches like that in a season once. or 2 seasons, something like that. But I was always breaking a clutch, and then after that, almost every clutch I've ever owned, except for the Clutch Elite and Clutch Elite X, um, I didn't break. So something that's just questionable to me. I'm sure they've done their homework, and since it's rather stiff plastic, you don't really have to worry about that sort of thing. But either way, something to really think about when it comes to, hey, is this head going to be sturdy? Or, hey, how should I do my bottom string or do my tie off for my leathers? Is it going to put too much pressure on the plastic? Is it going to snap? So kind of think about how you're going to tie it off. But so moving into your actual sidewalls, there's again a multitude of sidewall holes. I actually kind of found it a little weird at first. I like a little bit more on the less side, so let's say 18, 19 sidewall holes is perfectly fine for me. 29 seemed a little excessive. Again, coming to how the plastic is molded and everything, I feel that there's not a whole lot of space as far as being able to keep it rigid and keep it strong for the plastic, because there's just so many holes there. I feel that it makes it weaker. But again, they've done their homework. They've done plenty of prototypes and everything like that. But it's still something that I question, just because of what has been for the last, 20 years when it comes to a plastic head. But so pretty much all 29 except for your top, let's see, except for your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your top 6 sidewall holes are a little bit different in size. 1 to accommodate your shooters, 2 to accommodate double wrapping or even triple wrapping if you want. Still, the sidewall holes go high enough to where you can accommodate a traditional pocket, so you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. It's nothing to really worry about. Again, talking about the scoop, your scoop is pretty much the same exact thing as it was on the Mark 1, so 6 top holes, nice oval shape, not too big, not too small. Can fit a double triangle top string if you really want to in there. You can use actual top string if you really want to. The spacing is about as perfect as it was on the Mark 1. There's no complaints there. Again, the scoop, very much the same. Kind of coming back to the aesthetics, if you compare to a Mark 1 to a Mark 2, there's a little bit of a change as far as cutting out and cutting away plastic to save on weight, but still maintaining rigidity or strength. So there's not really much to worry about when it comes to, oh, that looks like it'll snap, when it comes to the actual braces for the walls. So all around, I definitely give String King kudos for their second head ever. I know they haven't released the 2A and 2D just yet. Right now they're really focused on the V before they come into the spring season and coming into the holidays and whatnot. So it is priced at a $90, and that's unstrung. Not a bad price point. Most top end MIDI attack heads are right around $90. I mean, you got your Maverick heads, your STX and Warrior and everything. Right around $90 is their top tier heads. So good price. If you're a little on the I don't really want to drop $90 on that, just go ahead and get a Mark 1. If you want to stick to String King, you're not going to be too disappointed at all with a Mark 1. But if you want to go new, you want to go best and everything like that, and you want to give all these sidewall holes a try, go ahead and grab you a 2V for $90, and then go ahead and grab your mesh and everything like that for about another $30 for the entire kit. So not a bad way to go. Actually, if you don't go with String King mesh, your String King full kit, sidewall, shooters, and everything like that, $10 for an entire kit from String King. I'm pretty sure a decent amount of retailers will have it, so you don't have to worry about that. But so 2V, probably one of my favorite heads for the upcoming season, along with a few others, but I'm going to mess with this a little bit more with mesh before I really throw in a traditional. I tried it out doing stuff with the sidewalls and whatnot. I don't feel it's going to perform or feel much different than the Mark One when it comes to having a traditional and to like balance wise and everything. So great head, decent price. I really don't have any complaints about String King's second head ever for being a mesh company. So good job, String King. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got some info out of this, and go give it a look. If you're not going to buy it, at least give it a look before you decide to either keep with what you have or go with something else. So I'll catch you guys later.